and ride the waves. Alright, breathe into life. Think you got a shot, don't stop, just fire away. Alright, breathe into life. And if you're feeling good vibes, find your best self and ride the waves. Alright, breathe into life. Think you got a shot, don't stop, just fire away. Alright, breathe into life. And if you're feeling good vibes, find your best self and ride the waves. Alright, breathe into life. Time after time I question myself. This is not what it seems. Day after day I try to believe. Seems like I'm living a dream. Sometimes it makes me wonder, is there a door that's open? Take a chance and see, can you believe? It's time to live and see the light. Take the time to fight and do what's right. Gotta take it on one step at a time. I'm gonna open my eyes to a brand new day, 'cause I'm here to stay. Temptation, it lies beside me. Today's a give and take. Thoughts tend to spin, make me so crazy. Why did I do this again? Sometimes it makes me wonder, is there a door still open? I can't wait any longer. Do you believe? It's time to live and see the light. Take the time to fight and do what's right. Gotta take it on one step at a time. I'm gonna open my eyes to a brand new day, 'cause I'm here to stay. I'm here to stay. Oh.
We've not been in league action since that incredible, exciting, enthralling 4-4 draw against Ipswich, and that seems a long time ago. Since then, it's 3 wins in 3 different cup competitions, and we are certainly hoping that now we get back to the bread and butter, we get ever closer to those playoff places. It is Burton Albion away today. The Brewers prop up the table at the moment, but after a poor start to the season, they have stabilised in recent weeks. They're unbeaten in 3 of the last 5 league games and progressed in the FA Cup and the Papa John's Trophy since their last league outing. It's all about us though, and if we can win today, we could end the day just 1 point outside the playoff places. Lots to get through ahead of kick-off, so here's a taster of what's to come. As always, we'll hear from manager Ben Garner, who sat down with Charlton TV commentator Terry Smith yesterday morning. We'll also hear from Coville Town defender Jake Eggleton, for whom facing Charlton in the FA Cup was extra special last weekend. And we'll speak to Addicks defender Sam Lavelle, who has enjoyed a run in the side of late following some injuries and suspensions. As it's an away day, we do have the A-team, Curbs and Brownie, alongside me. And Curbs, have to say, big week for you, wasn't it? Your birthday on Tuesday.
I wondered what he's on about then.
Well, then we went to Scotland, you and I, didn't we, for 3 days?
Yeah.
What did you do on the day, and how did you find Scotland?
On the day, I just woke up, stretched off.
Stretched the calf and Achilles.
Limped to the toilet. And then, had an easy old day and went out with... Actually, we went out, me and the missus went out with our 2 kids.
Should we make you a cake, Ginger, or not?
No, we've got... No, but we're really going to celebrate it tomorrow. We're getting our grandkids and everybody tomorrow, so...
You're going to mention your birthday present at all?
We've got one of them caterpillar cakes.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Birthday present. Go on, I bet you can't get...
Brownie, it's a sore point.
Go on.
A telly.
Oh. Lucky I didn't say moisturiser. I was going to say moisturiser.
Telly?
Yeah, she's... Look, that's for her.
Of course.
Stitched you
That's
right
her.
up.
Of course.
Yeah,
So I
stitched you
said,
right up.
get her a pair of football boots, his size, for her birthday. Anyway, look, 65, have to say, you don't look a day over 64. No, but there's someone who does look a day over 64. Brownie, how are you?
I'm good, yeah, very good week.
You couldn't make Scotland?
Couldn't make Scotland? No, I'm not doing that journey. Not for that length of time up there. But I'm glad you had a good time. I met up with Dean Kiley during the week and had a drink and met up with his missus, and we had a... It's always good to catch up with ex-teammates, actually.
Well, you'd have been happy after Saturday, then.
Oh, he was very happy. Yeah, Sunday.
Sunday,
Yeah. I was at the game and it was a poor game. But I think Crystal Palace were in a good spot, sadly.
Sadly, yeah.
The toe's clean.
Absolutely. Looking well, Curbs, I have to say, 65.
Yeah.
Looked very good indeed. No danger of it retiring at all on Charlton TV, no?
No.
You're going to keep doing this for a very long time?
As long as you keep asking me.
Okay,
I enjoy
no
coming here.
Well, it's not me, as long as they keep asking me as well, to be honest.
Bus is free now, no?
No, I think another year.
Have you got another year? Oh,
I'll get a
okay.
pension or something.
Don't touch it.
Okay, before we move on, actually, to Charlton, there is one other that's it's football related. It's not about us. Gareth Southgate picked his squad on Tuesday. Brownie's not in it.
No. I don't even know who's in it. So you have to tell
Actually,
me.
there are 2 former addicts in it.
But actually, we was away, weren't we? Like, we went to Scotland and there was no tellies or anything, so
No.
it just went over. That's what's gone over our heads.
For you. Do you have electricity yet or not?
The Scots are going to love you.
No.
They really have.
Next year, if you go to Scotland, you might need a passport.
It could do.
Yeah, right, well done.
Nick Pope and Conor Gallagher, 2 former addicts. I mean, there's no point in asking Brownie about the balance of the squad then. Did you
Charlton
actually have a look
squad,
at it?
ask me about the Charlton squad, but the England squad I've got very little interest in, sadly. I know that's terrible to hear, but
I wonder,
Pope's in it.
I wonder if they had anything in their contracts. That, Gallagher obviously played for us, didn't he? But Pope, I wonder if there's anything in his contract if he got England caps and etc. Come in handy, wouldn't
the
it?
club will get some money.
Come in handy.
Yeah, it would come in handy.
Didn't I read this week that we are going to get money for Gunter making the Welsh squad? I'm sure I read that somewhere this week.
There's so many things you can see in them contracts.
I'm sure I read somewhere. Well, I didn't get any of it, sadly. I got, if you play, we'll give you £1 more. But yeah, no, Gunter, I'm sure there was something about the Welsh FA are giving clubs up to 2 years previous. So I think we get money for Gunter while he's away.
Okay,
I think
that'd be handy. Yeah. Okay, looking at matters on the pitch for Charlton, that Ipswich game Does seem a long time ago, but you caught your breath since then?
Oh, it was, to be fair, people have been coming up to us, haven't they, and saying, like, what happened at that game? All them goals in extra time and whatever. And I had a couple of people here who were Ipswich fans, and they were staggered. And poor old Ed. Ed was celebrating.
Your new mate Ed.
Ed was celebrating 2 boxes away. He was at number one. He was at number one after a week, and then he dropped like a stone.
But you did go and see Ed, didn't you? So you're his new best mate.
Yeah, I'm his mate now.
Yeah. And since then, of course, Brownie, 3 different cup competitions and 3 wins out of 3. Obviously brings additional sort of demands of fixtures. I throw this to both of you. It can only be good for building momentum, though, can't it?
And confidence, yeah. I mean, if you get knocked out, you can imagine the sort of comments made after games when you get knocked out to lower league opposition. So it's good that you've won all 3 and good that we've got through. And I think that can only breed positivity in the group itself. You know, we talk about confidence and morale, and you know what modern day football's like. If you lose to somebody in a league lower, you're the worst. And if you get through, great. There's positivity about who we drew, Brighton here. You know, I think you know, we go off and do other levels. And I think we're going to see the gulf actually between what the Premier League's become and us. Hopefully they bring a weakened squad once the World Cup's over, and we can have a right good... Yeah, Brighton that is, we can have a right good go. Plymouth away is not the greatest draw in the world, but the Brighton one's a good game. A good game. Stockport's got great following, haven't they? Should be a good atmosphere there.
They've got a bit of money.
If we can get through the Stockport game,
could get one of the big boys.
Get another big boy like Brighton. But
I spoke to Keith on the way, and Keith Peacock, as I always do, and he made a really good point. He said, we're like the sort of modern day Man City or Liverpool going for a quadruple. We got 3 cup competitions and promotion.
But the other side of it is people like Lavelle, who was out the picture, suddenly he's back in, he's had a run of games, and it gives Ben a few problems when, hopefully, the other centre-halves get fit.
We shall talk more about Sam a little bit later on, but let's get cracking, shall we? Already waffling on for far too long. Let's hear from the gaffer, Ben Garner, who spoke to Terry Smith yesterday.
After a trio of cup victories, we're back in league action on Saturday. Are you looking forward to getting back to the bread and butter of the league?
Yeah, it's been nice to have the cup games, and especially getting through in all 3 competitions, which was obviously the aim going into that little run of games. But we're looking forward to Burton now, getting back to league action, and hopefully getting 3 points and continuing sort of a push up the table.
In terms of the cups, we've been drawn at home in the next rounds of the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. We'll play away in the Papa John's. How important can those cup runs be in terms of building momentum?
Yeah, I think they're great. I think there's excitement amongst the supporters, and rightly so. You know, getting home games in both of those competitions now is great. Hopefully we get a good crowd for both and can push into the 3rd round of the FA Cup, and then see if we can get a little bit of an upset against Brighton in the Carabao. So good draws, good opportunities for us, great momentum. It means extra games, which it stretches us a little bit in terms of squad, but that's what we want. We want to be in all competitions. We want to be winning as many games as we can, and by doing that, it ultimately means more fixtures and more games. But that's a sign of us doing well.
And it's Burton Albion, excuse me, to come in the league on Saturday. They're bottom of the table, but have had a little upturn in form since their change of manager. What are we expecting from them?
A difficult game, to be honest. I think it's probably similar to when we played MK Dons. They were bottom when we played them, but they're not a bottom of the league side. You know, they're a good side, MK, and Burton have been really, really competitive for the last 5-6 weeks now. You know, they've had some good results, some strong performances. I've gone toe-to-toe with some of the really strong teams in this division and done well. So we know it's going to be a tough game. We need to go there full of respect for what they do and understand their strengths. But ultimately, as always, it's us trying to impose ourselves and win the game.
When you go to a side that's bottom, is it even more important that the mentality is right? Is it something you work on with the players?
Yeah, I think the mentality has really grown, and that showed again Tuesday night. You know, the resilience to keep going and the desire to keep going and to go through on penalties, I think is a sign of how far that has come this season. And we need that in abundance again on Saturday. But I think Burton being the home side, the position they're in, I think the onus and pressure is probably more on them than it is on us. So I think it's a good game for us to go and relax to a certain extent in terms of playing our game. But as you say, have a really strong focus and a really strong mentality about us.
And just finally, a word for the fans. This could be good numbers heading up to Burton Albion. They were excellent, and the full house away at Stevenage on Tuesday night. They can play their part again, can't they?
Absolutely. You know, Tuesday night, as you say, that away end was full. It was crammed. The atmosphere was incredible, and you know, to win on a penalty shootout and have those celebrations was a special night. And I know we're travelling in fantastic numbers again tomorrow, and hopefully we can get another great atmosphere in the away end. And fingers crossed we can get another away win and keep this momentum we've got.
Well, that's the aim after not starting well away from home. We're certainly trying to come away with all 3 points today. And it's 3 changes from Tuesday. The Sessegnon, Kirk and Campbell are in. Morgan and Payne on the bench. So too Jake Forster-Caskey. And just a second league start for Richard Chin. So, chaps, who wants to go first? Thoughts?
Brownie.
Yeah, listen, are we not up against it a little bit in what we can pick? You know, there's a lot of injuries in the squad at the moment. Suspension to Sean Clare. We knew there were going to be changes. I didn't think they'd go back 3 again with what we had left. So it makes sense to go back to the 4-4-2. Personnel, I think we may have thought Sessegnon might go right, Chin left, but either or. They're both comfortable either side. Campbell coming on the left with maybe Blackett-Taylor. Maybe there's something behind that in terms of that I've missed injury-wise, that he's not quite 90-minute fit. And I thought Chucks might start today. You know, I think he's had enough time back now as a centre forward to maybe in training and coming on in bit parts to be fit enough to start, but clearly not. So, you know, you look at the subs bench, I'd say that's quite predictable because we are short defensively.
I wonder if we'll see Chucks ever start a game. We'll have to wait and see. But Tyrese Campbell was good last week as well, wasn't he? So good to see him getting minutes.
Yeah, and Corey Blackett. I mean, both of them on the bench again, you know, and you're thinking, well, when are they going to start? Unless we've got the situation where we think they can do more damage coming on late, which obviously Chucks has been doing, and Corey Blackett. But yeah, I'm interested in Chin playing at right back because he played at left back, didn't he, against Stevenage? And I thought Sessegnon, because he's 2-footed, could go there. Perhaps they will swap over if it ain't working too well. But we've got a couple of things. We're really strong down the middle, as far as I can see. You know, it's a good spine, and we've got pace either side of it all.
Another big game for Charlie?
Yeah.
And Jayden, to be fair.
Yeah, Jayden's been isolated, but he's finding it very, very difficult. And I think we need Kirk to step up. You know, what are you? You know, are you a number 10? If you're a number 10, you've got to start making things happen and getting on the end of something. And if you're a left winger, which he has been, obviously has been playing, do you go past the full-back, or are you getting your crosses in? You know, so I think the jury's out on him. And I think, you know, the only way it's going to settle down is a consistent run of games, and he shows us what he's about.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Well, look, as I said a few moments ago, today's opponents, Burton, are bottom of the league, but we find ourselves in the top half. So let's focus on that. We could end the day in 7th if we win and other results go our way. At the very top, Plymouth still lead the way and hold a 4-point advantage over second-placed Ipswich. Plymouth were thrashed 5-1 in the FA Cup by League 2 side Grimsby, so they'll be hoping that was just a small blip. Sheffield Wednesday and Peterborough both secured their 10th league victories of the season last time out, beating our opponents for today, Burton and Cambridge, respectively. Those wins keep them 3rd and 4th. And then there's Portsmouth and Bolton on 27 points in 5th and 6th. And Curbs, look, up to 9th now. We could finish the day 7th. Remarkable, isn't it, what a couple of wins in this division can do. A month ago, everything was doom and gloom.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, we are going for top 6, that's it. And no one's going. We can't catch them top 2, I know. They're just too far away. So we are looking to try and get in them playoffs, and, you know, it could, as you're saying, after today, be a couple of points.
And Brownie, you're only 4 points off the playoffs. We're only 4 points off 18th. I mean, it's so tight, isn't it?
It's been that way for a while, yeah.
How important then we keep our decent run going?
Yeah, I think that's vitally important for confidence morale. But what I would say is, a couple of weeks back, a lot of sides below us had games in hand, and there was a run of fixtures. I don't know, it was last week maybe. There was 4 draws on the night, four, and everyone below us, all those games went. So we could have dropped about 12th, 13th, 14th, and now we can't. I think only one team below us, I think it's Lincoln in the bottom half, can overtake us. So you know that's how far we've come. You know, but I think if you look at our last 2 results in the league, which have not, you know, the 4-4 everyone's talking about, but we shouldn't have got a point out of that. You know, if you're Ipswich Town, you've got to see that over, and obviously MK did a job on us. So it's refreshing actually that we're still sat 9th, even though we've had those little blips, and then we've bounced back with 3 cup results. So there is a run of fixtures now that you look at, and dare I say it, we should. Yeah, I know, but we should come out with 10 points.
Well, starting with today.
Yeah, we should come out with 10 points if we've got any aspirations of finishing in the top 6.
I could feel in Ben's voice when he was talking. You know, because obviously MK Dons come here bottom of the league, and Burton today, but you got to deal with the expectation level, and go and get the points.
Absolutely. Here's a question for you: the Prem and the Championship are stopping. Apparently, there's some tournament going on, Brownie. You've not heard about it. It's called the World Cup. Yeah. There might be some League One managers who would want the same, but would it be fair to say at the moment Ben would absolutely be delighted there's no break?
Yeah. Well, we don't know the injury situation to some of these players, do we? But, you know, we look as if we've got a squad strong enough to cope. It'll be tested a little bit today. But with this run of games we've got coming up, I think, you know, not going overboard, but we've got to be looking to take the majority of the points.
Absolutely.
And then, when you're going into the Christmas period, when it comes thick and fast, you're in there. You're in and around it.
A full fixture list in League One today. Let's have a look at it, shall we? All 24 sides are playing. Midweek saw one league game as Shrewsbury and Oxford drew 1-1. Accrington haven't won in 5 in the league. They face a tough-looking home fixture against Sheffield Wednesday. Cheltenham were dumped out of the FA Cup by the lowest-ranked team in the competition, Alvechurch, last weekend. Their game today sees them head to Ipswich. Good luck with that one. Leaders Plymouth will be hoping to bounce back from their surprise FA Cup exit when they head to Lincoln. Lincoln got that brilliant League Cup win away at Bristol City. And 5th place Portsmouth go to Morecambe. So, standout one for you chaps.
I can't say one. They're all very, you know, there's not one that you go, oh, look at that, that's going to be tasty. Exeter, Peterborough, maybe. But there's everyone playing there, you think, well, I mean, maybe Plymouth away at Lincoln's one you've got to look at, you know, but the rest, there's, you know, Accrington, you expect them to lose. They're on a horrendous run, you know, hovering just above the relegation zone. In every one, you know, and if you say Bristol Rovers Fleetwood are two sides that are quite competitive, it's not really a standout fixture, is it?
I think it's making it more and more important we get the 3 points today. It looks like the teams above us are going to get the 3 points as well.
If you're the Cheltenham manager, you've been dumped out of the FA Cup by a part-time team last weekend. What are you saying your players to the game after that and ahead of Ipswich away?
Well, that's it. You know, you've got to respond, don't you? We've all been there where we've had disastrous results, and you know, you just got to get on with it and you know, show a bit of character. But you know, Cheltenham, that's all been changed now, isn't it? We playing them on a Saturday, now we're playing them on a Friday night.
It's been brought forward, Something to do with the World Cup again, Combs.
Is it?
some competition.
Something to do with the World Cup.
That's the Back to the Valley celebration. It's changed to a Friday night now.
We shall come on to that in just a second. Let's go to it right now. We're talking about club news updates, but we will start with ticketing news. Our next home league game is going to be a big one. We celebrate the 30th anniversary of our return to the Valley. We take on Cheltenham Friday, December the 2nd. The game itself, just the half of it though. We'll be joined by a host of Charlton greats in the past 30 years, so please make sure you're here to see them all. Tickets for the match are priced at just £19.92 for adults, over 65s and under 21s anywhere in the stadium, while all other concessions are priced at just £7. What's more, if you are a season ticket holder, then you can bring a friend for free. To get your ticket or redeem your free ticket as a season ticket holder, please visit booking.cafc.co.uk now. Staying with our 30-year celebrations, and on Thursday, December the 1st, we will be hosting a special anniversary dinner here at the Valley that will see key people and players in the past 30 years return to SE7 to celebrate some of the iconic Charlton moments from across the last 3 decades. With this year also marking 30 years of community work at Charlton Athletic, the dinner, as with all the 30th anniversary events, will be raising funds for the Charlton Athletic Community Trust, with 25% of the proceeds from the evening, together with the monies raised at the special auction taking place at the dinner, going to support the award-winning work of CACT. To get your tickets for the dinner, please head to booking.cafc.co.uk. Now, this is great news. I'm delighted to announce that supporters will be able to watch every league game live on Charlton TV from next Saturday up until and including New Year's Day anywhere in the world, and that does include the UK and Ireland. Throughout the FIFA World Cup, UEFA's Article 14, and Brownie, I know you want to talk about Article 14, so the floor is yours.
14.1, I think.
48.1.
Sorry.
Get it right. It is the one which prevents from live streaming Saturday matches in the UK, and that will now be dropped. And that means that all 7 of the Addicts League matches from Saturday, November the 19th, up to and including the fixture at Portsmouth on New Year's Day, will be available to watch in the UK and anywhere else in the world. Fans globally, including those in the UK, can now purchase a Charlton TV World Cup pass, which is priced at £70, and the price of the pass will decrease by £10 after each of the fixtures it covers is played. In other words, after next Saturday's game at Port Vale, the price of the World Cup pass will drop from £70 to £60, and so on. Just head to cafc.co.uk to get yours, or text Brownie to explain a little bit better. Following our progress in the Papa John's Trophy, FA Cup and Carabao Cup, we've discovered our opponents for the next rounds of each of the competitions. In the FA Cup, we'll host League 2 club Stockport County here at the Valley on the weekend of Saturday, November the 26th. In the Carabao Cup, we'll welcome Premier League side Brighton to SE7 on the week commencing Monday, December the 19th. And in the Papa John's Trophy, we'll travel to Plymouth Argyle, and that's the same there for Monday, November the 21st. Well, the Charlton women's team returned to winning ways on Sunday by earning an impressive victory up at Durham in the Barclays Women's Championship. Captain Emily Simpkins opened the scoring from the penalty spot, following what was a foul on Mel Johnson inside the box. Might need it for England in the World Cup. And after Durham had equalised with a penalty of their own, the duo combined again. This time Simpkins played in Johnson. She picked out the bottom corner. The win moved the Addicts up to 4th, and they're back in action next weekend when they make the short trip to Crystal Palace. Charlton's under-18s have been drawn against Northampton Town in the second round of the FA Youth Cup, and they'll face them on Thursday, November the 17th at Princes Park in Dartford. Our youngsters thrashed Kingstonian 9-0 in the last round to set up this tie, whilst Northampton got the better of Peterborough. Meanwhile, the Addicts under-21s will head to Welling United in the second round of the London Senior Cup on Monday, December the 19th. And supporters will be permitted to attend both fixtures, and ticketing information for both matches will be released in the days leading up to the respective games. And finally, our under-21s got back to winning ways on Thursday afternoon by coming from behind to beat Cardiff City at the Princes Park in Dartford. After falling behind early on, Henry Ryler's deep cross sailed all the way into the net to level proceedings before half-time. And midway through the second period, striker Daniel Kanu turned on the edge of the box before firing into the bottom corner. As ever, another good finish, as you'll see. And a big well done to Hamza Sarar's side, and they'll hope to build on that when they host Fulham in the next home game on November the 22nd. Another goal from Daniel Kanu, eh?
Yeah, it's a brilliant finish actually, but the build-up, the build-up to that's not.
What are you laughing for?
Why don't you just say it was a really good finish?
It's a great finish, brilliant dummy, and to lose a defender, and an excellent finish across the keeper. But go on, move on, because I'm not allowed to be half glass empty. Excellent win for the team.
Excellent win, excellent finish, and well done again for him. OK, right, it is very rare that we speak to an opposition player here on Charlton TV, but last weekend's game against Coalville Town was extra special for their defender Jake Eggleton. He explains why.
Since I've been 5, I've had a season ticket here for 10 or so years now. Unfortunately, I had to give up my season ticket when I took my first football a bit more seriously. To get this draw was just unbelievable, yeah.
That's Charlton up by 6. 61.
I remember the day, like we was all at the clubhouse, saw Charlton come out, and then it's 61, and then when it's come out, it's like unbelievable. I'm in disbelief really, and then yeah, ever since just been buzzing for it. And then shame we couldn't get the result, but it was a great day. Really enjoyed it. I had a lot of people saying you need to score. I've got a lot of bets riding on it, so nearly stuck one at the back post for like last minute. But no, really good day, mate. Really good day. because I'm up in Loughborough, I don't go home much because it's such a journey. It took sort of 4 or 5 hours to get home yesterday. So yeah, just to go home, see my family and friends tonight would be nice, just to have a little chill out with them.
Fantastic. I mean, look, it must have been brilliant for him and his family. And you were here for that game as well, Curbs, weren't you? I mean, the fans were superb as well, weren't they?
Unbelievable, the fans. You know, they actually made the day. Colville, they wasn't going to get a result, even though they nicked a goal, but they wasn't going to get a result. But the fans had a fantastic day out, and so did the boy. Absolutely.
Well, Jake came through West Ham's academy, so too did George Dobson as well, and he managed to get Dobbo's shirt after the game. Dobbo arranged all the players to sign for it as well. Dobbo, who we know is not just someone who tackles like a beaver, but also a scorer of late equalisers as well. And that shows as a really nice touch, doesn't it, Brownie?
Yeah, it's a great touch. And I think we see lots of things, actually, at Charlton Athletic where, you know, whether it's community-based or through the players themselves, where you get moments like this. I mean, that's a great... it's not just a day out, is it? You know, he thinks he's come away from West Ham, he's gone down into non-league, which is a bit crushing in itself, that you're hoping one day you get to maybe elevate yourself back into the leagues, but that's the second best thing you can do, is get a cup tie at the club you support. I mean, they had a great result the round before. They beat Notts County.
They did.
And so they sort of, it was a hard route to get here.
Yeah.
And you know, you just see that picture at the end where he's in front of his own fans. Excuse me. He'll remember that for the rest of his life.
Absolutely. OK, last week, midfielder Jake Forster-Caskey took time to go and visit those attending the Charlton Athletic Community Trust's holiday football course. Let's take a look.
Obviously come down to the community trust, obviously got a load of youngsters coming down for a football school. It's obviously nice that one of the first team players come, myself, and just, you know, so they can see a professional footballer in the flesh, and then hopefully it inspires them to keep enjoying the game. Hopefully we can give them some good advice that they can take away, and you know, it's probably not every day that they can speak to a professional footballer, so yeah, it's nice for us to come down. We've all been there as well, like as in us pros have probably been there before when we was younger, and we've experienced going to these soccer schools and someone turning up and you're obviously you're buzzing just to meet them and ask questions that you wouldn't be able to obviously ask like a parent or things like that. So yeah, it's nice for us to give a little bit back. I think Charlton especially are brilliant with the community and things like that, and the players like doing it. Like I said before, it's giving a little bit back. It's not a lot because it's not a lot of our time, but you know, it's the least that we can do really. We're lucky enough to be in the position that we are. So yeah, I mean, little things like this, it's just nice to be able to do.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And you can find out more about the Community Trust's upcoming Christmas courses by visiting their website. I mean, always a good thing, that, Curbs, isn't it, to do something like that? And, you know, for the youngsters, certainly who support Charlton, seeing someone like him come along can inspire you.
Funny enough, we was with Jason Morgan in a week, wasn't we? And I found an old bag, Charlton bag, which my boy, Michael, came to one of the courses.
Right.
And we found his shirt, shorts and socks in it. And we're waiting for one of the grandsons to get a little bit bigger.
Brilliant.
And it was all sports.
Brilliant.
That's how old
you can
the shirt
pass down
was.
the generations.
Pass it down, yeah.
So a young Stevie Brown looking at Jake Forster-Caskey. Take yourself back. What would you have asked one of the pros?
How much you earning?
Yeah, it's probably, no, I didn't. Do you know what? When I first entered, you know, you can say that now, knowing me as I got cynical as I got older. But as a kid, I didn't care about the money. I didn't care. First and foremost, it's about becoming a professional. But I would, yeah, I think I supported Liverpool as a kid, still do to some degree. And if I'd have got in front of Dalglish, I wouldn't have said anything. I was the shyest kid in the world. I would have turned and run a mile. Dad. But yeah, I mean, I think in terms of you know, what you have to do as a player, I think they're pivotal.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, we went round the schools, didn't we? And we went round to all the supporters clubs. I remember sitting in cars on Thursday nights, and your name come round to the top list, and you had like Hastings supporters group on a Thursday night. But you got in the car, you drove there, you did it because it's you know, as you should.
Absolutely, the community side, and obviously seeing kids and inspiring them, whether it be professional footballers or into something else, absolutely crucial and very much a part of a professional footballer's job. OK, right, back to on the pitch matters now, and it's fair to say that Sam Lavelle has got back into the side and he's doing pretty well. He spoke to Charlton TV yesterday, so look ahead to today's game.
Sam, a busy couple of weeks of cup action, but back to the bread and butter of the league on Saturday. How much are you looking forward to Burton?
Yeah, it's a chance to keep that winning feeling going. Got a few players back from injury now, which is good and positive. And obviously our main target this year is promotion, so the league's probably the most important thing. The cup runs are a bonus, so it's been nice to get a good feel factor around the place, but the league is where we want to do well, so yeah, looking forward to it.
3 wins on the bounce in those cup competitions. I mean, you kind of touched on it there, but how beneficial are those cup games when they do allow you to build that momentum?
Yeah, it's good for a number of reasons. Obviously, minutes for players like myself and other players who haven't really played much this season. And obviously good for when you get the win to get used to that winning feeling, really, like I said before. It just makes everyone feel better, the staff, the place, people are feeling better around the place. Just everything's more positive, so if you can get used to winning games and get used to that knack of seeing games out and finding a way to win like we did on Tuesday night, and it's all positive.
Now, a couple of years ago when you were still at Morecambe, you drew Chelsea away, I think it was, in the FA Cup, having got through a few rounds. I mean, we've obviously got the Carabao Cup draw tonight. We won't release this interview until Saturday, so we'll know who we've got by the time we put this out. But when you get a big tie like that, or you put yourself in a position to get big ties, I mean, how much of a difference can they make to a squad? Yeah, a big difference. I actually missed that game, the Chelsea game. I missed one game all year. I caught COVID around Christmas time, and I missed the Chelsea game, which was a bit of a kick in the teeth. But yeah, it's great for everyone. It gives everyone a lift. It's probably once in a career, sort of, for a few players. So yeah, we'll all be watching tonight, hoping we get a big draw, and again, that can give us another lift going into the league season. If we look back to Stevenage, where we won in the Carabao Cup, probably fair to say a bit of a slow start to the game, but by the end of it, we were completely dominant, weren't we? How much can we take from that last sort of 20 minutes or so into Burton? Yeah, a lot of it, really. I think, as you've seen, our squad's looking good this year. The subs on Tuesday night made a big difference. And it was tough on Tuesday. They're good at what they do. They play very direct. They stop you playing. They press you really high. So I think it was a bit of that getting used to. Obviously, the penalty didn't help us, but once we got to grips with their style of playing, we injected our subs and things like that. I think we dominated the game, and I think if the game was going on for another 10 minutes, we would have won it. So yeah, but I think we did well to get through it. The gaffer said it in the game, we're finding ways to win at the moment, and that was right on Tuesday night. Burton, as we say, to come on Saturday, they're struggling at the moment, but have had a little upturn of late. I mean, mentally, how do you prepare for games against teams who are right at the bottom and struggling? I think just the same. You have to go into every game with the same mentality that they're going to be good. There's no weak team in League One, and like you say, they've had a little surge in form, so they're going to be at it. They're going to see Charlton and think, listen, we're the underdogs, but we'll give it a good go. So I think for us, going into games like that, it's just about focus and keeping on your top concentration, and we should have enough in the change rooms to get the win. You've been with us for probably coming up to a season and a half now. How are you finding life at Charlton? Good, I love it, yeah. I didn't realise how good London was, really, down south. I'm loving it. Every time I go back home to my family or my girlfriend and things like that, I'm buzzing to get back down here and sort of that London life again. So yeah, loving it outside the pitch, outside the club, and obviously within the club, the lads are great, the staff are great, so the fans are unbelievable when they get behind us. So yeah, loving life at Charlton, really. I know you've got a little right-hand man down here in Charlie. You live together. I mean, how do you find that, living with him? It's good, yeah. He's like my little lad, really. I look after him. He needs it sometimes. All the lads give him a bit of stick, really, for how childish he is mentally, I think. But yeah, I took him under my wing, and hopefully, I think he enjoys it living with me, living with someone this year. So yeah, we got on pretty well. Do you enjoy that kind of older brother role? I think so. I like to think I'm more mature than him, to be honest. Childish in some ways, but yeah, I've took him under my wing, and he does as I say, really. I won't let him slack. Good stuff. Well, good luck at Burton on Saturday. Yeah, cheers, mate. So
should be warning you, actually, when we're just about to come. Let's talk about Sam in just 1 second, because we are hearing that Joe Walcott has injured his finger in the warm-up, and Craig McGivery will be starting in this game, and Nathan Nasimwe will be on the bench. He's a versatile defender. Let's come on to that in just a second. Let's talk. I think it's fair to talk about Sam, and we've still got time to do all of the above. Look, we've had a lot of cup matches recently, and when it comes to someone like Sam as well, who hasn't played too much, it's really beneficial. One, he's able to play in these games, but two, show what he can do in the run of games
and make the squad stronger, which he has done. And he's saying to O'Connell, he's saying to Ben, and then O'Connell and Innes, I want to play. And I'm performing, and I'm going to get a run in. And as Brownie said to you, if you're playing consistent, like he is at the moment, and, you know, with the injury situation, looks like he's going to get a few more games, you know, can he ice one of them and establish himself in the first team? Going back to the keeper getting injured, that's a difficult one, isn't it? Because
let's stay on the theme of Sam a second. What would you be like as a manager, knowing that your two of your lads are staying together?
You'd have to do a Fergie, wouldn't you? You'd have to sneak up round there one day, wouldn't you?
I'm sure Sam's they're both very reliable characters.
On gigs and all them, didn't he? You know, sit outside and watch what's going on. But yeah, it looks like he's the dad of it all, and he's looking after him a little bit.
But important for Sam, but also for us as a club as well. When you know, Owen's been playing well, and Ryan's been playing well when he's fit. So, to have that third centre half pushing for places.
Yeah, I think it's imperative you have the strength in depth. The worry for Sam is, and the same for Jake actually, is, you know, all due respect to the 21s football, it gets you nowhere near ready for first team football. And the longer you're out, the harder it is. And I've played that role many, many times. And you need 2 or 3 or 4 games before you're really up to sharpness. And that was the case with Sam as well. But he's got through that now. So I think we should see, you know, the more he stays in the side, he should get like that little bit sharper in the brain, where you can read things a little bit quicker. And so he should get better and better.
OK, look, let's have a look at the Stevenage game, shall we? There's so many things we could talk about. And again, we've still got time to do all of the above. It's fair to say, very, very dramatic circumstances. And it looked like we were going out the cup as well. But again, especially away from home, yeah, disappointing that. But I mean, his body was, and he will learn from that, Brownie, won't he, Richard?
100% he'll learn from it. Look, he's dropped in nice and early. He's taken his eye off the ball, and then when he realises he's not going to get his head in it, he's thrown his arm out, which is the cardinal sin.
Yeah.
You tuck your arm in, you let it bounce. The striker's still got an awful amount to do, so he will learn from that, and he'll get told how to improve that situation.
And to be fair to Stevenage, flying high in League Two, won 10 of their 11 home games. So, Curbs, it's never going to be an easy one, this, is it?
This was a good result. No, this was a really good result. And, you know, although it come late, the equaliser, and we went through on penalties, as Brownie said earlier, the end result is you've won.
Yeah.
You've won, you've gone through, and, you know, you're in the next round.
Curbs, if you're going to start moaning about winning but not playing well, then you've got an issue.
Yeah, you're looking for something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Did we see the importance of some guy called Chuck Zaniko?
Again?
Do you know what? I'll rewind this all the way back to the Exeter game, 2-1, on the back foot. I think that was a pivotal half hour and changed our season. And the 2 guys that came off the bench that night were Anike and Payne, and they both scored. And I think that makes a huge difference to us as a club. Whether you're chasing a game, whether you're winning a game, you can bring on players that score goals. It's a massive plus. But I mean, like Curb said, we were 3 or 4 minutes from going out. It's a different story. We're having a different conversation. But we didn't, and Fraser's popped this in the bottom corner. And I understand, actually, from bits and pieces, that Claire got an awful amount of stick. And so the players decided to stick up for him as a unit together afterwards. And that's a massive thing for me. You know, when a group of players stick up for one of their own, it really does gel it. You've got the 3 results, you've got that reaction. Brilliant. Hope we go in today, get a nice result, and that moves us on to these next 3 games where I think we can pick up a lot of pointers.
Just on Jake as well, would you like to see him starting?
Yeah, I think Jake's in a really difficult position. You know, that situation really needs a 5-minute conversation, not just a 10-second soundbite. It's a horrible situation for a player to be in when you've been kind of told you're 5th or 6th choice, really, when you see the central midfield options we got. It's nice to see him on the bench today, but you know he'll want to play every week. He was player of the year not 18 months ago. Either side of that, he's had 2 cruciates. He needs to play.
He's not going to be the first player that has been out in the cold and managed to get back in. George Dobson, he was out, wasn't he, at the start of the season?
was out as well.
Absolutely, and we're talking about Lavelle, you know, and if Forster-Caskey breaks in, and says to Ben, you can't leave me out, then you can't leave me out. You know, he might come on today and turn the game.
But the last thing he needed really for his career, after a year out with a cruciate, was to not be involved.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a killer.
So let's talk about Joe then, being injured. How big a blow do you feel that is? And obviously not having a goalkeeper on the bench.
Well, we've got a strong replacement. You know, McGilvery will be really upset that he's been left out. He's got a chance now to establish himself for a little bit. It's what happens after that, isn't it? If he gets sent off or he gets injured. You need Stevie Brown.
Managers have the luxury, do they? They just don't have the luxury.
I actually left the goalkeeper off the bench because I knew Brownie was on the bench.
Did you?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. I had my own shirt at one point, tucked under it. Little goalkeeper just slid it out.
He used to get warmed up because he was always sub. He used to get warmed up.
That's what I'm saying.
He used to get warmed
I
up.
can sympathise with Sam.
I
didn't even go into
just killed you.
No, sometimes
I could have sympathised with Sam. You didn't go into that enough.
No, sometimes he used to get warmed up because he thought he may have a chance going on outfield.
Yeah.
And then he put the goalkeeper's jump on and go,
More chance of getting on.
more chance of getting on now.
Yeah, 4-0 down.
300 league games.
Let's have a look. Don't like to talk about it. Let's have a look at the two teams, shall we? And as we can see, we've quickly changed from Joe to Craig in there. And as I mentioned, Nathan Asimwe, who's only a young kid, a very versatile defender, a great experience for him. But even more so, Curbs, you know, in terms of Burton, this is a team that, OK, have picked up in form, but basic line is they're bottom, aren't they?
They're bottom, yeah. And if we go and get the 3 points, it will set us up for these run of games we've got coming up, where we could really make a statement and get ourselves in that top 6. And listen, Craig, he'd be really disappointed he's not been playing. You know, Joe's come in the summer, the manager's gone with him. We don't know what
I hope it's not too serious.
We don't know
he's off to the World Cup.
Yeah, we don't know what Joe's done.
Just
We don't know what he's done. We don't know what he's
He's
done.
supposed to be going out after today.
But I think we've got a good setup there. You know, shouldn't have any
absolutely.
problems.
Just on Burton, listen, it doesn't matter what their upturn of form is. They've had 5 league wins in the last 31 league attempts. They're not a side in good form, you know, and they've picked up ever so slightly. But we are in a great run of form ourselves. I mean, we're 1 loss in the last 9 in all competitions. We should be going there full of confidence, looking to get 3 points today.
Deji Oshilaja, up against, he was here for 2 years, wasn't he? Got a sending off with Jaden last season.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine it'll be another good battle between those two. But look, of course, it is that time of the year. It's Remembrance Day for the people who've lost their lives for our freedom. So let's head to the Pirelli Stadium right now, shall we? Get to our afternoon's commentators of Terry Smith and Greg Stubley.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, guys. We're going to stay silent because the presentation for Remembrance Day is about to commence.
I think of all of those who've given their lives in conflicts around the world ever since. Today, we all remain connected to these conflicts, either because of our own family history, the heritage of our local community, or because of its long-term impact on society in which we live today. 104 years on, football continues to come together in remembrance of all those who've served in conflicts since. Today, we welcome members of the Topsy-Turv, Royal Legion and RNA, who join us